game was drunk. It was. And by the way, give Dallas credit. I thought they were in a soft tank, and they played well, and they really defended. I mean, Jayden Daniels got a lot of yards in the fourth quarter. The game was crazy, but I really felt like Dallas had him buttoned up for most of the game. Then Turpin makes this spin move, which is that's a field view of it. From above, it's even crazier. It was literally a YouTube page in like 12 minutes. The game was just bizarre. I can remember when this was the biggest rivalry in the NFL for 20 years. George Allen was coaching Washington. Tom Landry was when I was a kid growing up, this was the biggest rivalry in sports. And I'm serious. I mean, it was bigger than Yankees-Dodgers. It was bigger than maybe there was something in Europe. But it was fun to watch that game because it was kind of a hard watch for 3 quarters. Then it just went sideways fast, and good for Dallas for playing that hard. By the way, the first 6 games of the year for Kansas City.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this game. Listen. You can even see, right? It says still trust Jayden to lead them to playoffs. Guys, can we please calm down? Can we please calm down? God, some of the comments that I've seen around this game are just insane, right? Jayden Daniels has been exposed, and he's not that good. He's come back down to earth, and this and that, and it's like, okay, guys, have we forgot the fact that first off, he's a rookie quarterback. The Washington Commanders were one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. They got new coaching staff. They're not a stacked roster. They are in a rebuild. And they're already significantly exceeding expectations for the Commanders and Jayden Daniels for that matter. And we want to act now like that they were just going to continue to win game after game after game and have no issues whatsoever. I mean, is that what we're saying? That in order for Jayden Daniels and the Commanders to prove that they're on the right track or that they're going to be a great team, they had to win 12, 13, 14 games this season? I mean, like, do you guys understand how insane that all sounds? That there's not going to be any hiccups? There's not going to be any issues? No things that they have to troubleshoot and figure out? I mean, it's comical. It's laughable to think that. I mean, it is. Just like the same people that were ripping Caleb Williams as a bust, now you see how great he's playing, and it's just one of those things, where I just can't even, and that's why, like, I have notes from this game, and it's like at this point we already know how it all unfolded. And the ridiculousness of it all, right? The back and forth. I mean, it was absolutely insane. But I kind of want to take a step back from all that, because the way how this game unfolded obviously was absurd, and some of it was heart, some of it was grit, some of it was great play by Jayden Daniels, some of it was great play by the Commanders as a whole. Some of it was also just kind of lucky and fortunate. And that's why it's like, I don't even know how helpful it is to even unpack and kind of go line by line of like, oh, well, they did this when they should have done that, and great throw here and great throw there, and ooh, bad drop, bad fumble. Like, we could do that. I could, like I said, I have all the notes. This game was so bizarre and so wild that I don't even think that those would be the takeaways even, honestly. Just like when they got that Hail Mary and they won the game, that wasn't even necessarily the takeaway, which I tried to say, like, that was amazing, that was awesome, that was big moment, but the takeaway wasn't even their ability to do that. It showed that they were ready for the moment and ready to win and ready to turn it. But like, so this game was interesting, because even the stats, even when you look at the box score of the stats, like, it's not even it's not even representative of the game, because right, Jayden Daniels has multiple interceptions. One was the Hail Mary interception. The other one was a fluke interception. I mean, I think Jayden Daniels, even in this game, even though he hardly played great, I think the way how he made moves with his legs, he showed playmaking abilities. Like, even when things were going wrong, he would get the ball to his playmakers and they were just not making the plays. Like there was that one play, I think it was to Eckler, and I think Greg Olsen pointed it out, where like he did a great job of getting him the ball. I think he did kind of like a little short little pass or a shuffle pass, whatever it ended up exactly being, but he was making something out of nothing, and Eckler just dropped it. I mean, just straight up dropped it. And he had, I mean, the way how Greg Olsen was putting it was saying like he would have just been able to take off, maybe for a touchdown, but it would have been a big play. And that would have been one of those plays that people would have said, oh my God, did you see Jayden Daniels make something out of nothing? And then he made another beautiful throw that then ended up being intercepted. But again, you could say it was a dangerous throw. I don't necessarily see that. Like I forget who it bounced off of, but it should have been taken care of. It was a tight window throw, but that's always the thing. It's always like that question between what's a good throw, like in a tight window or a tight contested throw, and what's a bad throw. And so it's like, I think Jayden Daniels played pretty well. He's not playing perfect. He's not playing at the level that we've seen him play. So make no mistake about it. Like he needs to play better, but I think it's a combination between some bad luck as well as Cliff Kingsbury not adapting enough to what needs to happen. I think defenses are kind of doing a good job of containing what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do. And that's why Jayden Daniels at this point now is kind of forced to use his legs more. I don't think they're doing they're not doing a good enough job to establish the run. I mean, Jayden Daniels was the leading rusher. And like I said in my post-game video, like that is not sustainable. That will never be sustainable. Go ask Lamar, go ask Mike Vick, go ask Josh Allen. It's just not sustainable. Ask Hurts, you can't do that. And they had the run going for them early on in the game. And they had good runs, like good, what I always call like innovative, progressive runs, where it's not just hand the ball off and hope your running back finds a hole. Like you could see that it was very intentional. The O-line, like they were making moves. Everything was fluid and in motion, and you had a good run game, but then it just became non-existent. And then again, you really are relying on Jayden Daniels to kind of rip off a big run, and it becomes too much. You're just asking too much. I mean, they asked him to throw, nearly 40 plus times is what they were actually asking him to do, and he has to be the leading rusher. Like it's just too much. It's the dude's 10th game of his NFL career. It's too much for a seasoned veteran, quite frankly. And that's always been the problem with the Commanders going into the season. They've just were able to overcome it so early on. This team is not good enough. They're overperforming. Like that is the reality. They're overperforming. They're overperforming their weapons, their run game, their O-line, their rookie quarterback, their defense. Like they've always needed the pieces. They needed the pieces defensively. They need the pieces offensively. This was always a process that because of the electricity of Jayden Daniels, the culture and the steadiness of Dan Quinn, and the progressive offense of Cliff Kingsbury, that they were able to shoot out of a cannon. They were able to shoot out of a cannon, and I think it kind of made people's expectations of what they can achieve too high. And that's why I said this weeks ago before any of this went down. I wish I could find the video, but I'm just too lazy to, where I was like, hey, I know things are going really great, but I was like, we got to manage our expectations. I said, don't get too cocky, don't get too confident. This is still not going to be an easy path forward, because I could see the Commanders fans saying, we're going to win the division, we're going to the NFC Championship game, let's go. And it was like, you're going to need some luck for that to happen. You're going to need some luck. And because again, it's just how these teams work. It's what happens when you have a lot of new pieces. It's what happens when you have a new coaching staff, when you have a rookie quarterback. Like these are the things that happen. So you shouldn't be surprised. But I see people either abandoning ship, right? They're either like, oh my God, same old. Like I saw someone say, same old story with the Commanders. And it's like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? And then I have other people saying, Commanders been exposed. Jayden Daniels exposed. He's awful. And it's like, that's not true either. Like, so it's like none of the conversations that are being had around the Commanders really feel legit. The reality is that they were able to sneak away with a couple wins that they could have definitely lost. Some of that luck has caught up to them a little bit. You would have liked them to have played significantly better against the Cowboys. That's indisputable. I think Cliff Kingsbury has to kind of get back in the lab with Jayden Daniels and kind of continue to evolve his playbook and his plan of attack, his game plan. They have to establish the run game. It is brutally impossible for any quarterback, let alone a rookie quarterback, to not have a run game going. And you got to catch the ball. I mean, there was plays that they had that they either just simply dropped or caught and then fumble, right? With Bates and stuff. Like, those things are going to crush any team, let alone a young up and coming team. That's just the reality of sports, especially football in the NFL. But again, I think this season was always about righting the ship and not conquering. The early success and the electricity of Jayden Daniels kind of made people feel like, oh my God, this team can they go to the Super Bowl, which is exciting considering how no one cared about the Washington Commanders for years. But I think it confused a little bit of people of what this season was about. And this season was always about developing Jayden Daniels, righting this ship, and making sure that the Commanders are back in a positive direction. Perfect example, maybe Commanders don't want to hear it, but you're going to listen to it. The Philadelphia Eagles in 2021, okay? Things were really bad. They won the Super Bowl, obviously, in 2017. Things started to get a little wonky and rocky in the years past. Carson Wentz, they had some bad injuries, unfortunately, for them. Then they have to fire their coach, Sirianni. Like, things were just kind of crazy. And, they have Jalen Hurts now, which people were like, hey, why did they even draft him in the first place? But they're like, okay, I guess he's the quarterback now. Is he good? Is he not? Who knows? Sirianni, who's this guy? What's going to happen? And 2021 was kind of like a weird, rocky season. And then it wasn't until the second half of that season where they kind of started to right that ship. And then 22, they go to the Super Bowl. And then 23, things get rocky again. And then now in 24, they're a top Super Bowl contender. That's just how football works. And so again, the Commanders, to me, this year for them is probably closer to maybe say the Eagles in 2021 than say the Eagles in 22, or even what the Houston Texans did last year to be able to get to the playoffs. Because again, the Houston Texans were ready to make a playoff run last year. They win a game. They get rocked by the Ravens. This year, they obviously have a little bit of bad luck with injuries, but even so, do not look the same whatsoever. So you want to build a team not off of fool's gold. You want to build a stable foundation, and that is what they're in the process of doing. And so a tough game like this, albeit honestly, a really fun and exciting game. And that's why I really just encourage Commanders fans more than anything to just enjoy the ride of the season. Enjoy the highs, enjoy the lows, just have fun with it. They should not have such insanely high expectations where anyone is jumping on or off any bandwagon. There should be no talk of exposing this quarterback. This team is a disaster. This team is the same old, same old. They are significantly better than they've been in years past, and they are officially on the right track. Because I got news for you. The way how this game unfolded, in years past, the Commanders would have been blown out. They would have been blown out. We've seen it over the years. So the fact that they were even remotely in this game, the fact that they even made this game exciting and even came back in the fourth and had some of these insane moments, the fact that that was even a thing is a testament to what this Commanders team will be able to do in the future. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. How do you guys all feel about the Washington Commanders? Do you still trust Jayden to lead them to the playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I'm really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.